Rain of stars glimmered over the great chamber of explorers. Dozens of alien captains sat around a holomap, their eyes locked on one glowing red circle. It pulsed like a warning beacon, marking a single planet. Earth. The chamber was silent at first. Then whispers spread like fire. Still red after all these centuries. No one dares to go. Deathworld, one voice muttered. The younger recruits laughed. They were fresh from academy, full of pride and courage. To them, the red mark was nothing but a ghost story. Deathworld? Ha! Just another ruined rock, one recruit said loudly. Old captains always talk about myths. Nothing lives there now. Not after the wars. But the veterans did not laugh. Their faces grew pale, their eyes lowered. Some clenched their hands as if remembering scars no one could see. One old captain finally spoke, his voice rough and broken. You don't understand. We lost ships there. Crews. Entire fleets. Not to storms. Not to machines. To something else. The laughter died quickly. What something else? A recruit pressed. Radiation. Mutant beasts. The old captain shook his head slowly. No. Hunters. The word carried a weight that silenced the chamber again. The holomap flickered, showing Earth's blue and green sphere. Beautiful. Peaceful. But the glowing red warning around it made it feel cursed. For centuries, Earth had been marked as forbidden. The Galactic Council kept no clear records, only fragments. Ships had gone to investigate, and none had returned. Reports vanished. Logs were erased. The Council never explained why. And so, Earth became legend. A story told in whispers. A place explorers avoided. But legends also create curiosity. A group of bold aliens gathered after the meeting. They were not captains yet, only seekers, hungry for fame. Their leader, Commander HFY, stood tall with sharp, grey skin and burning yellow eyes. Listen to me, he said to his crew. This is our chance. If Earth truly is dangerous, we prove it false. We step where others fear. We return with proof, and the galaxy will remember our names. One of his officers hesitated. And if the stories are true? HFY sneered. Then we hunt whatever lives there. No creature can match our weapons. The younger ones cheered. The promise of glory was too sweet to ignore. Their ship, the Iron Fang, was prepared within a cycle. When word spread of their mission, veterans tried to warn them. Do not go near Earth. You don't know what waits. Turn back while you still can. But arrogance is stronger than fear. The Iron Fang launched into the Black Sea of Stars. Days passed. Space was quiet. The crew grew confident. They mocked the stories in laughter. Hunters. Please. Humans were weak, emotional, fragile. How could they survive when stronger races fell? They destroyed themselves. That's all. Exactly. Deathworld. No. Empty world. But as Earth's blue curve appeared in their view, the laughter faded. It looked alive. Too alive. Forests spread wide across continents. Oceans gleamed with silver light. Storms moved like beasts across the skies. One officer frowned. This planet, it does not look dead. The ship's scanners activated. Data filled the screens, yet most of it made no sense. Energy readings spiked and vanished. Strange interference disrupted signals. It was as if the planet was hiding itself. Adjust sensors, HFY ordered. But every time they locked onto something, it disappeared. Movements in the forests. Heat signatures in the mountains. Shapes in the oceans. Too fast. Too silent. The crew exchanged nervous looks. Commander, something's wrong. The readings. Before he could finish, the lights flickered. The entire ship shook as though struck by invisible hands. Report. HFY roared. The sensors went black. All systems died, one after another, until only emergency red glow lit the halls. The crew scrambled at their stations, panic in their eyes. It's not possible, an engineer cried. No ship can jam us like this. From the bridge window, clouds shifted below. Shadows moved against the surface. Not natural shadows, shapes. Humanoid shapes. They stood on the mountains, on the cliffs, even in the forests, looking up at the ship. Watching. Waiting. One officer's voice trembled. "Commander, I think they see us." HFY's jaw tightened. For the first time, doubt cracked his pride. The ship shook again, harder this time. Alarms blared, and something scraped along the hull, long, sharp, metallic. Like claws. "Contact on the outer hull," someone screamed. But when cameras flickered alive for a brief second, nothing was there. Only marks. Deep, savage marks. The crew was frozen in silence. And then, a sound. Not static. Not error. A voice. It came through every speaker on the ship. Calm. Cold. Human. "You should not have come here." The crew stared at each other in terror. The legends were true. Earth was not dead. Humans still lived. And they were hunters. HFY's pride broke into fear, but he forced his voice steady. "Prepare weapons. If they come for us, we fight." The crew scrambled, gripping rifles, charging cannons. But deep in their hearts, they knew this was not their hunt. They were prey. Outside the window, more shadows moved beneath the clouds. Thousands. The Iron Fang drifted helplessly in Earth's orbit, trapped in silence and fear. The hunt had begun. The Iron Fang drifted in low orbit, silent as a tomb. Systems flickered, but nothing stayed alive for long. The crew tried again and again to restart engines, but strange interference burned through every control. Commander HFY stood on the bridge, his hands gripping the console so hard his claws cut into the metal. His crew worked in panic, their voices overlapping. "It's not possible. Our power cores are strong. Shields won't stay online. Something is draining us. Something from the planet." The voice still echoed in their heads. That human voice. "Calm. Too calm. You should not have come here." HFY slammed his fist against the wall. "Find them. Track the signal. I don't care if you have to rip the systems apart, show me where they are." But no one could. 4 hours, the ship drifted. The younger crew muttered nervously. Maybe it was just a trick. A recorded message. Humans are gone. They must be. But their words carried no strength. The marks along the hull said otherwise. Something had touched them. Something alive. At last, the interference eased. Power flickered back. Engines coughed. A weak hum returned to the Iron Fang. "Engines online," the engineer cried. Cheers filled the bridge. Relief surged. They would leave. They would survive. "Take us away from this cursed rock." HFY roared. The ship turned, thrusters firing. Space opened before them. They were free. Or so they thought. A sudden alarm cut through the cheers. "Object detected. Moving fast." The screen blinked alive, showing a streak rising from Earth's surface. Small at first. Growing larger. Too fast. Missile. No, faster than a missile. Then what is it? The crew watched in horror as the streak split into 3. Then into 10. Then into hundreds. Not machines. Not projectiles. Shapes. Flying. They moved with impossible speed, closing in like arrows of light. Their forms blurred on the scanner. Too fast to lock. One officer screamed, "They're coming straight at us." The Iron Fang shook violently as the first impact struck its hull. Not an explosion, a landing. Metal screeched as claws dug deep. "Boarders!" HFY shouted. "Repel them. Prepare for close fight." The corridors of the ship lit red with alarms. Doors sealed. Weapons armed. Soldiers lined up, rifles ready. Then silence. Every sound died except the soft scraping above their heads. SCRKKKK, SCRKKKK. The sound of hunters moving through the walls. A squad was sent to the cargo bay where the first breach was reported. 10 soldiers in heavy armor marched in formation, rifles glowing. The bay was dark, lights flickering like dying stars. They saw nothing. Then the temperature dropped. Breath turned to mist. The leader raised his weapon. Stay sharp. They are. A shadow moved behind him. Too fast. A blur. The soldier screamed once before his body was lifted, slammed against the ceiling, and dragged into the dark. Blood rained down. The squad fired in panic, bullets tearing into walls. Sparks flew. Smoke filled the bay. One by one, screams echoed. Not a single shot found its target. And then, silence. When the backup squad arrived minutes later, the cargo bay was empty. Only rifles and bloodstains remained. On the bridge, reports poured in. They're inside. Deck 3 is lost. We can't stop them. HFY's heart pounded. He wanted to deny it, to call it madness. But deep down, he knew. The legends were true. Humans were not weak. They were death itself. In the medbay, survivors whispered what they had seen. Not beasts, not ghosts. People. They moved faster than any sensor could track. They had weapons made of bone, claws like knives. No armor. No fear. Just hunters. The word spread like poison through the crew. Hunters. HFY gathered his officers on the bridge. Listen to me, he shouted. We will not break. They bleed, like all things. Arm every cannon, every turret. Force them out. The ship roared as heavy weapons came alive. Cannons along the hull spun, targeting the dark skies. For a moment, courage returned. The crew felt the fire of survival. But then, the cameras showed them. Humans. They stood on the hull itself. Dozens of them, their bodies thin but strong, eyes glowing with something colder than space. No suits. No oxygen. Just skin against the void. They raised weapons unlike any the crew had seen, bows of light, spears of metal, claws fitted to their arms. Ancient yet deadly. And they smiled. The cannons fired. Explosions lit space. The hunters vanished into the blasts. But when the smoke cleared, they were gone, not destroyed, only gone. A second later, they reappeared inside the ship. The bridge door exploded inward. 3 humans stood there, tall and silent. Their eyes burned like fire. Weapons rose. The crew fired in panic. Bolts of plasma tore through the air. But the humans moved like shadows. One strike, one cut, one scream, each shot ended in death. Blood spread across the bridge floor. At last, only HFY remained, his claws raised in defiance. One of the humans stepped forward. A woman, tall with long dark hair, her face scarred, her gaze sharp as a blade. You were warned, she said softly. This is our hunt. HFY tried to speak, but no words came. The hunter raised her blade, and darkness took him. The iron fang drifted silently above Earth, its lights dead, its halls filled with silence. From the shadows, the hunters returned to their world. The first hunt was over. And the galaxy's greatest secret remained safe. Humans still lived, and they hunted all who entered their world. The iron fang never returned. Weeks passed. Then months. The ship's signal, once strong, vanished without warning. Families of the crew begged for news. The guild promised investigations, but no answers came. All that drifted back across the stars was a single lifeboat, found floating near a trade route. It carried no survivors, only silence and claw marks carved deep into its hull. The words scratched into the metal chilled everyone who saw them. Leave our world. In the great trade stations, whispers spread. Explorers leaned close in shadowed corners of cantinas, voices low. They say the Iron Fang entered the Deathworld. Earth. That cursed place. Yes. And they didn't return. At first, the rumors were laughed off. Stories. Nothing more. Some wormhole accident. Space is dangerous, ships vanish all the time. But the laughter never lasted. Not when old captains grew pale at the name Earth. Not when they refused to speak of the red-marked planet. Soon, strange sightings reached the outer colonies. A freighter swore it saw glowing eyes watching from the asteroid belt. A patrol reported unknown signals shadowing them in dark space. One miner claimed his scanner caught a humanoid form walking on the surface of an asteroid with no suit, no ship. When others mocked him, he pulled up the data. The shape was there. Too clear to deny. The galaxy began to shiver. In the council halls of the Union, arguments erupted. The Deathworld must be investigated, one leader shouted. No, sealed, another barked. Do you want more ships lost? We cannot let myths control us. If humans still exist, we must know. The chamber filled with voices, rising like storms. At last, the High Speaker stood, his long robe dragging across the shining floor. His voice carried weight. Enough. The world called Earth is forbidden. No guild, no explorer, no fleet will land upon it again. It is now under sanction. His words were final. But bans and laws meant little to the greedy and the bold. In hidden ports, smugglers and mercenaries whispered of fortune. If humans still live, their weapons will be worth more than gold. Think of the technology, the secrets they guard. Bring proof of humans, and you'll be richer than kings. The promise of treasure always outshouted fear. And so, another ship prepared for the hunt. The silent spear was smaller than the iron fang but faster. Its captain, Jareth, was no fool. A scarred mercenary, he had lived through wars and raids, and he trusted only coin. Listen well, he told his crew. The iron fang vanished because they were careless. We will not be. We stay high, we scan, we take what we can, and we leave. Fast. The crew nodded, though unease darkened their eyes. Do you really believe humans live there? One asked quietly. Jareth's scarred mouth twisted into a grin. If they do, I'll shake their hand, then sell their bones. The crew laughed, but it was a hollow laugh. When the silent spear approached Earth, the crew expected fire, storms, or madness. But instead, the planet lay below them, quiet. Blue oceans, green forests, white clouds drifting softly across the skies. It looked beautiful. Too beautiful. It can't be a Deathworld, one recruit muttered, leaning over the screen. It looks alive. Peaceful. Jareth narrowed his eyes. That's what makes it dangerous. For 3 days, the ship orbited. No signals. No attacks. No voices. Only silence. The crew relaxed. Jareth grew restless. Perhaps the stories are lies, he said at last. We'll take proof. A landing. Quick, in and out. The shuttle descended into the atmosphere, clouds parting around it. They landed in a wide forest clearing, where the air smelled sharp and clean. Birds sang. Leaves danced in the wind. Nothing attacked. For the first time, courage returned. See. Jareth said, stepping onto the soil. The galaxy fears ghosts. But this world is ours for the taking. They began to explore. The first signs came quietly. A footprint. Human-shaped. Fresh. Captain, the scout whispered, pointing at the soft earth. The crew froze. The print was not fossilized or ancient. It was made only hours ago. Jareth's grin faded. His hand rested on his blaster. Stay sharp. They moved deeper into the forest. Then the second sign appeared, marks on trees, carved with precision. Symbols none of them understood. Warnings, perhaps. The forest grew too quiet. No birds sang now. No wind stirred. Only silence. Night fell. The crew lit fires and stood in a circle, weapons raised. The trees loomed like black towers around them. One recruit whispered, "Do you hear that?" The others strained their ears. A sound. Faint. Soft. Almost like breathing. But it came from everywhere. The shadows moved between the trees. "Show yourselves." Jareth shouted. His voice shook despite himself. "Whoever you are." A whisper answered. Calm. Cold. Human. You were warned. The forest exploded with motion. Figures rushed from the dark, fast, silent, unstoppable. Eyes glowed in the firelight. Blades flashed. The crew screamed as hunters fell upon them. The hunt had begun again. And this time, the galaxy would not be able to deny the truth. Humans lived. And Earth was no myth. It was a trap. The silent spear never sent a signal. Not a single word reached the stars. Weeks later, a merchant convoy spotted debris drifting in the void. Pieces of blackened metal floated like bones in darkness. At first, the scavengers cheered, wreckage meant salvage. But as they drew close, their joy turned to dread. The shards were from the silent spear. Every piece was carved. Not shattered by weapons, not broken by collision. Carved, as if torn apart by hands sharper than steel. And painted on the largest hull fragment, burned deep for all to see, were words no alien could mistake. Leave Earth. Now. Panic swept through the trade lanes. Some said the crew was captured and eaten. Others whispered the hunters wore the crew's skins like armor. The stories spread faster than fire. The Union Council met again, the great chamber echoing with fear. This cannot be coincidence, one senator cried. 2 ships gone, destroyed. Destroyed by what? Another demanded. No empire claims that world. No fleet. Only myths of humans. And yet, a third whispered, voice trembling, those myths are true. The chamber fell into silence. None dared to say it aloud, but every being thought the same word. Humans. Among the explorers and smugglers, the terror grew worse. New recruits stopped laughing at the legends. They avoided even speaking the planet's name. And the old captains? They drank in silence, eyes haunted by memories they never shared. Why don't they invade the stars if they live? One young alien asked in a bar. Why stay hidden? The old captain shuddered, his voice a rasp. Because they don't need the stars. They are hunters. They wait. And when you step on their ground, his voice broke, and he left without finishing. The silence he left behind was answer enough. Still, greed never dies. Hidden in shadows, whispers of profit rose again. If humans live, imagine their weapons. Find a way to capture one, and you'll be rich beyond kings. Bring back proof, and the galaxy will kneel before you. But few dared. Fear outweighed greed now. Except for one man, an admiral of the Union fleet, cold and proud. Admiral Varos. Enough of this fear, he declared before the council. If humans exist, they are savages. We are the Union. We command fleets, worlds, power. Shall we cower because of rumors? The chamber stirred. Some cheered his boldness. Others looked away in dread. Varos slammed his fist down. I will prove the truth. I will send a fleet to Earth. And if humans still breathe there, I will burn their world to ash. When his fleet departed, 1,000 ships strong, the stars shook with their engines. Crowds gathered at ports, watching the armada vanish into the void. Some cheered. Some prayed. Some whispered farewells they knew would never be answered. The fleet flew with banners high, confident and proud. For the first time, many believed the human myth would end. But among the old captains who watched, no one cheered. One whispered into his drink, 1,000 ships will not return. Days later, the fleet reached Earth. The planet glowed below them, blue oceans, green forests, white clouds drifting gently. It looked harmless, peaceful. Admiral Varos sneered. This is the Deathworld. This is what they fear. Fools. He gave the order. Begin descent. Deploy scouts. Search every continent. Shuttles streaked into the skies. Troops in armor marched across beaches, forests, and ruins of old cities. At first, they found nothing but silence. Empty houses swallowed by vines. Roads cracked and broken. Towers turned to stone skeletons. Abandoned, one commander reported. No life. The humans are long dead. Varos smiled. Just as I thought. Ghost stories. But then, the scouts stopped reporting. One shuttle's signal cut mid-sentence. Another vanished off scanners. Troops sent to investigate found only burning wrecks, no bodies. Mechanical failure, Varos snapped. Press on. Yet the losses grew. Whole units disappeared in forests where only shadows moved. Whole patrols went silent in ruins where no enemy was seen. Finally, One transmission broke through the static. A soldier's scream, cut with terror. They are here. They are everywhere. The signal ended in silence. Varos clenched his fists. Fear clawed at the edges of his mind, but pride kept him standing tall. Cowards, he growled. Scared by the dark. They'll be punished when we return. But even as he spoke, the bridge lights flickered. The ship shuddered. A low, unearthly sound filled the comms. Breathing. Slow. Deep. Human. Varos froze. Then the voice came. Calm. Cold. Deadly. You were warned. The bridge went dark. Across the fleet, panic erupted. Ships lost contact. Engines died. Shadows moved within the corridors, unseen but felt. Soldiers screamed through comms before silence claimed them. The stars above Earth burned with falling ships. One by one, the fleet died, without ever seeing their hunters clearly. Admiral Varos's last sight was not of space or battle. It was a pair of eyes, human, glowing in the dark of his bridge. And then, silence. Weeks later, wreckage drifted into trade lanes again. But this time, there were no carved warnings. Only a single black banner, drifting among the ruins, marked with a symbol long feared in legend. The mark of humanity. The message was clear without words. Earth belongs to the hunters. Step on it, and you join the hunt. The Union waited. Admiral Varos's fleet had left with 1,000 ships, proud and strong. Weeks passed. Then months. No word returned. No signal. No beacon. Nothing. At first, the Council called it a delay. The fleet is searching the planet, they said. Exploration takes time. But deep inside, fear gnawed. They all remembered the silent spear. They remembered the carved warning. And now, an entire armada vanished. Whispers spread across the stars. In markets, taverns, and shipyards, voices trembled. The fleet went to Earth. They never came back. They say the humans took the ships, turned them into their own. No, worse, they say the humans hunt in silence. They don't just defend. They strike. And slowly, across the galaxy, trade routes shifted. Explorers drew new maps, marking Earth with a single word in blood-red ink. Never. But the humans did not stay on Earth. It began quietly. Small ships, seen only at the edges of vision. A trader swore he saw a vessel with black hulls and no markings. It shadowed him for hours, then vanished when scanners locked on. Another convoy found its escort ships drifting, empty, gutted. No bodies. No damage outside. Just silence within. The Union tried to cover it up. But the truth spread faster than lies. A silent war had begun. One night in the Great Council chamber, panic burst. Planets are reporting raids, one senator cried. Outposts vanish. Colonies go dark. It is pirates, another insisted, though his voice shook. Surely. Pirates do not leave marks, the first interrupted, slamming his claw on the table. He threw a holoscreen forward. It showed the burned ground of a colony, scorched into words every race could read. We hunt. The chamber fell silent. Every eye turned toward the map, where Earth glowed red. Meanwhile, survivors began to appear. A few broken ships limped home, crews trembling and pale. Their stories were the same. Shadows boarding in silence. Soldiers vanishing one by one. Hunters striking from nowhere. They never speak, one survivor whispered. Never shout. Only breathe. You hear them before they come. Another survivor clawed at his own skin. They let me live, he sobbed. They let me live to tell you. They want you to know they're coming. The Union called emergency meetings. Armies were raised. Fleets doubled. Warnings sent to every world. Humanity must be destroyed, the Council declared. But no one knew how. No one knew where they struck from. No one even knew how many humans lived. Every night, senators and generals woke from the same nightmare, glowing eyes in the dark. On a cold mining colony at the edge of Union space, the nightmare became real. It began with a power cut. Lights flickered. Generators screamed. Then darkness swallowed the settlement. Workers rushed through corridors, shouting, fumbling with tools. Then they heard it. Breathing. Slow. Heavy. Everywhere. Panic spread. Alarms sounded. Security forces fired blindly into shadows. But the hunters were already among them. One by one, the lights came back, but only to reveal blood on the walls. And carved deep into the metal of the main reactor, the message. The hunt has begun. News reached the Union within hours. Senators demanded answers. Generals raged. But the truth was clear. Humans were no longer waiting for trespassers. They had stepped into the stars. The Council tried to rally courage. They are but one world. We are 1,000. But every being in the chamber thought the same silent fear. 1,000 ships went to Earth. None returned. Admirals ordered fleets to patrol trade lanes. Thousands of ships lined up in proud formations. But the hunters never attacked head-on. They cut supply convoys. They raided fuel stations. They stole weapons shipments. Always in silence. Always unseen. Soon, the Union fleets grew restless. Crews muttered in fear. Captains jumped at shadows. Entire squadrons fired on phantom signals, wasting ammo and fuel. Fear was winning without a single battle. Then came the message. Every comm screen across the Union flickered at once. Every ship, every planet, every outpost saw the same image. A black background. A single human figure standing in shadow. Its voice was calm. Cold. Certain. You hunted us. You mocked us. You thought we were myths. The figure stepped forward. Eyes glowed like fire. Now we hunt you. From this day, the stars are ours. Run, if you can. The screen went black. Across the galaxy, silence fell. For the first time in history, the mighty Union trembled. The galaxy held its breath. For months, human hunters had struck in silence. Fleets were torn apart. Colonies were erased. Entire sectors whispered of glowing eyes in the dark. And now, the Union faced its greatest fear, not knowing where the humans would strike next. Admirals locked themselves in war rooms. Senators screamed at each other in council chambers. Every speech, every plan ended in the same trembling words. We do not know how to stop them. In the great chamber of the Union Council, silence reigned. For the first time in 1,000 years, the proud leaders of countless species looked afraid. A holomap glowed above them, showing dozens of red marks where colonies had fallen. One senator, his scales pale, whispered, "It is not war. It is extermination." But another corrected him with a shiver. "No. It is a hunt." Then the council received a signal. Not from spies. Not from fleets. From Earth itself. Every comm screen in the chamber flickered. The lights dimmed. And on the holowall appeared the same figure seen months before, a human standing in shadow. No name. No rank. No smile. Only calm, cold certainty. The figure's voice rolled through the chamber. "You mocked us. You trespassed on our world. You sent 1,000 ships to kill us. And now, you count your dead." The aliens shifted nervously, claws scraping against desks, tendrils curling tight. "You thought love made us weak," the figure continued. "But love gave us fire. It gave us reason. It gave us the strength to fight until the stars themselves burn out." The holo shifted. Images appeared. Alien fleets burning. Colonies abandoned. Ships drifting empty. We are not an empire. We are not an army. We are hunters. And we do not stop. The words echoed like thunder. Some senators broke. One pounded his desk with trembling fists. "This is madness. They will destroy us all." Another hissed in anger. "No. We must destroy them first." But the chamber erupted into chaos. Half wanted to submit. Half wanted to fight. None knew what would save them. Meanwhile, far from the council halls, the hunt grew bolder. On a trade route near the Kirith Nebula, a convoy of 40 ships vanished without a trace. On the frozen colony of HFY, citizens awoke to find their defense towers dismantled overnight, every gun taken apart, every piece stacked neatly at the gates. And on the world of Droska, farmers found a message carved into the soil so deep it could be seen from orbit. Run. The galaxy could no longer deny the truth. Humans were everywhere. No one knew how many, or how they traveled. But every race knew one thing: the Deathworlders were no longer defending. They were claiming. At last, the Union made a desperate choice. A peace envoy was sent. Not soldiers. Not ships. Just a single vessel, unarmed, carrying one message: surrender. The envoy entered Earth's orbit. 4 days, silence answered. The crew grew restless, fearful. Then, at last, a signal came. It was not a welcome. Not a treaty. It was a single set of coordinates, burned across the ship systems. The crew followed them to the dark side of the planet. And there, floating among the stars, they saw it, a fleet. Not alien. Not Union. Human. Hundreds of ships. Black, silent, waiting. The envoy's captain whispered in terror. They rebuilt, from our bones. A single transmission cut through the void. The same voice as before. Calm. Cold. Final. You sent hunters to us. You became our prey. And now, the galaxy belongs to us. The envoy crew held their breath. Then came the last words. This is not war. This is the last warning. Leave Earth. Leave our skies. Or we will hunt you until the stars are silent. The message spread like fire. Across the Union, races trembled. Fleets pulled back. Explorers erased Earth from their maps. The galaxy had a new rule, whispered in every shadow, written in every star chart. Never step on Earth. Yet deep in the darkness, rumors grew. Some said the humans were building more fleets. Some said they already walked among the stars, hidden, watching, waiting. And others whispered a darker truth, that the hunt had only just begun.